Today I'll be discussing the environmental protection organization, the Nature Conservancy, and some of the contributions they have made to fight the growing environmental problems that pose some of the greatest threats to the environment and today's society. Life on Earth has been around for a long time. In fact, it's been around for about 3.5 billion years. This is according to fossil records. So one can say that time has tested that life is an everyday miracle of survival. Research at the polar ice caps has proven that life is so resilient that it has survived about 4 different ice ages. Scientists can tell this by measuring the carbon isotope levels preserved in the Antarctic permafrost. This is important because it provides information that CO2 has a drastic effect on the Earth's climate and life on Earth itself. As CO2 temperatures rise, vegetation tends to thrive, while when the level of CO2 lowers, plants and vegetations become more scarce. This becomes an extreme caution to people who try to conserve the environment, because when you take the element of vegetation away, like deforestation, the levels of CO2 become unmanageable. You can compound this with the carbon emissions and their growing problem. For example, every day we drive a car, you got to keep in mind that 1 gallon of gas consumed produces about 19 pounds of CO2. America alone emits about 7.6 billion pounds of CO2 every day. You add this with deforestation, like this forest here in Brazil, which has been completely taken away. Natural CO2 levels in the earth are not being replenished by oxygen like they normally should, and this is a growing problem throughout the world. Now, if you look at this scale, you can see that the natural occurrence of carbon emissions retracts by on this scale of a unit of 1. So it's a very manageable and current thing. But if you can see, since about the time of the Industrial Revolution, and on this scale about 1980 plus, it's going to be believed to compound about tenfold, which is a really big problem. Now this is bad for the polar regions of the Earth. Take a look at this bear here. He's not going to have anywhere to go. But so obviously organisms living in the polar regions of the Earth are being affected first by global warming. But this is a much bigger problem, because the increase in CO2 is melting the polar ice and changing the pH levels of the ocean, the Earth's natural oceans. Now, the influx of the water pH levels is going to create more catastrophic storms, which we've already seen in the last decade. We've seen an influx in storms. It also creates abnormal biological changes in the environment as well. And this has been seen with red tides. Red tides occur as phytoplankton, which are oxygen-giving organism. It's like a microscopic algae. It thrives because of like the lower pH level of the water. And this is bad because as it dies, it creates a high toxicity level of the ocean, and which occur and cause coastal dead zones. Now, coastal dead zones are areas where fish can't survive at all. And you see this really badly every single year in the Gulf of Mexico, where fishermen are no longer able to pick up any catch because there is no more fish. And this has direct effect on the economy and as well as the environment itself. So even humans are being affected. Excuse me. This is why environmental protection groups like the Nature Conservancy have identified these growing problems, and they aim to unify the understanding that if change doesn't occur, we will soon have some difficult times ahead of us. Now, what is the Nature Conservancy and what do they do? Well, they're a non-profit organization founded in 1951, which operate in more than 30 countries, including the United States and all 50 states within the U.S. They have over 1 million members and have protected more than 119 million acres of land worldwide. And this is not even to include the 5,000 miles of rivers and 100 conservation projects operating in marine environments worldwide. They create conservation blueprints for entire countries. Currently they did the entire wildlife conservation project for China, which is huge. and they enforce laws that aid international shipping agencies freely, so they can freely operate without spreading invasive species, which is a growing problem also in the world. The organization's assets total in about $5.64 billion, making it a force to do and having real-world capabilities to do good. The Nature Conservancy takes a scientific approach to conservation, selecting areas it seeks to preserve based on analysis of what is needed to ensure the preservation of local plants, animals, and ecosystems. Their international focus has led them to aid regions of North America, Central America, as well as South America, Africa, the Pacific Rim, Caribbean, and Asia. Unlike most other environmental protection groups, the Nature Conservancy aims to protect people as well as the environment. This is done as they strive to balance global land and food requirements while focusing on preserving the environment. This is achieved as they work with all sectors of society, including business, individuals, communities, partner organizations, and government agencies. So I bet you're wondering, what can you do to help? Well, the Nature Conservancy is currently launching perhaps one of the most ambitious projects ever within their organization's means. The campaign is called Plant a Billion Trees, and it is an effort to restore a 2.5 million acre area of a Brazilian rainforest within the year 2015. Each donated dollar results in one tree planted, which will be planted in the Atlantic forest of Brazil. The long-run goal of this is to slow climate change, as the Atlantic forest is one of the biggest tropical forests in the world. Scientists at the Nature Conservancy believe that this will help regulate the atmosphere and climate conditions on a global level. After all, trees are what absorb carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. It is believed that the Atlantic forest will have the capability to remove 10 million tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere each year, and that's equivalent to taking about 2 million cars off the road. So let me ask you, what is it worth to you to save the world? For as little as 60 cents a day, you can truly make a difference. Your contributions will directly make a difference, as each tree planted reduces carbon emissions by 2.3 tons each year. You can also directly support the fight by volunteering to plant a tree in a city near you. For more information, you can go to the website at Nature Conservancy. The website is www.nature.org. With your help, we can all keep protecting nature and preserving life. Thank you.